Hello, beautiful, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world, your beautiful world, just as you are, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. I wish you the best. And on this day, I am feeling just fantastic. At this point in my life, I want you to know that I am living my life. I am doing my life just as I choose to do. I am no longer out there on the plantation working every day. I am no longer out there on the plantation working for the man every day. And I am thankful for that. Know this, beautiful black people, that parents, all parents, right here on this plantation called America, and all teachers / educators must devise, implement, and perfect a plan to teach all children right here on this plantation called America. They must be taught about the problematic history of this country called America. The kids deserve that. Children have to be taught that before this sickness, this illness, this mental illness that have been created because of this global system of white supremacy / racism. And these children, these parents, these educators must feel the sting of oppression and discrimination. Hence is one of the reasons white folks are so reluctant to discuss it, to accept it, to admit it. Until you can feel the sting of oppression and discrimination, it will remain business as usual. There has always been, since the inception of this plantation called America, oppression and discrimination because of race, because of the color of my skin, my black skin, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. And then, after all children here in America are taught that true history, then we must explain to them why it happened. Why it happened. And that's another thing that white folks are reluctant to do. They are so reluctant, so denying regarding the problems that this country was built on. All across America, their blood, the bodies of black folks that was killed, that was lynched, that was murdered, that was beaten to death, that was burned alive, all across this country. there are blood remnants of all of those traumatic, savage things that white folks did to black folks. And then we must stop teaching all children on this plantation called America. We must stop teaching them that whitewashed history that they learn, that they are learning in middle school. Stop teaching our children that line as whitewashed history. Rather, we have to start teaching our children, parents and educators must start teaching our children the hard truth. They deserve to know the truth. And knowing the truth will set you free. I believe that too, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Tell our children that the Declaration of Independence was not for all people. The Declaration of Independence was written for white people. It was written for white folks. It did not include black folks, people that looked like me. And those words, statements, sentences contained in the Declaration of Independence. For example, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was never meant for black folks. That was specifically meant for white folks. The truth is that this plantation that we call America and all of the institutions that make this America run were created by white folks, was created by white folks and for white folks, specifically white boys. That is the truth of the matter. This system of white supremacy / racism were designed to keep white folks empowered forever. And it has worked. On July the 13th of the year 2020, this system of white supremacy designed to keep white folks empowered forever has succeeded. And the way it has succeeded, by purposely denying black folks, people that look like me, their basic needs. We have been denied the basic needs for survival and the ability to thrive. Remember, every time black folks were successful at building businesses, building black towns, black villages, black businesses, black schools, black hospitals, etc., etc. Every time a mob of racist white folks, local, state, and federal, aggregated their powers, their weapons, and destroyed those black folks, their successful black businesses, their successful black towns. Every time it happened repeatedly. And it's still happening today. Black folks are consistently marginalized economically. Black folks are consistently disenfranchised politically. This system of white supremacy were designed to keep white folks empowered forever by purposely denying black folks, people that look like me, the basic needs for survival and the ability to thrive, including denying black folks the abilities, the opportunities to make money, to have health care, the right to vote, and freedom. They have denied us our basic needs since the inception of this plantation called America. My beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. And know this, I will say this again. At the Thrasher Way, we do not hate white folks. We don't hate any folks. Rather, we have a duty and we are on a mission to liberate the minds, M-I-N-D-S, of black folks. Right here on this plantation called America and globally. White folks need to acknowledge their white privileges. That's the first thing they need to do, is acknowledge their white privileges. And acknowledge all of these systemic layers of racism that black folks have to deal with every day of their lives. Most of the stuff that our children are taught in schools today about slavery, about segregation, about the civil rights movement, are all taught looking through the lens of whiteness, of white folks. White folks will not, have not, they will not tell the true story regarding slavery, regarding racism, regarding segregation, regarding the civil rights movement. It has all been whitewashed. It has all been told through the lenses of white folks. Parents and educators have a present obligation to do more than teach kindness and dangerous notions of colorblindness. Colorblindness is just another way to enhance racism from my perspective. When it comes to talking about race and racism, don't give me this colorblindness bullshit. It doesn't work. Part of making reparations is telling the truth. Part of making reparations, white folks, is telling the truth. Part of making reparations, white folks, is telling the truth and having uncomfortable conversations when you don't want to. When you talk about black history, do not whitewash black history. When you talk about American history, do not whitewash American history. You're consistently, white folks are consistently trying to coddle, C-O-D-D-L-E. They are consistently coddling their white fragility. Their white fragility. Because it makes them uncomfortable. When you start feeling that way, white folks, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Especially if you were in my presence, I would educate you as to why you felt that way. The first thing we need to recognize is that the history books was written through a white boy's, a white girl's perspective. And often, very often, with this white savior industrial complex, that's what they do. Do you see all the white savior type movies and series that they produce? History has been written through a white boy's, a white girl's perspective with a white savior complex, which means a white person, teacher, leader, authority, is romanticized for saving the day. Relate that to all of those white savior movies. Up the Down Staircase, Black Diamond, so many of them. Remember the white savior movie that was entitled Freedom Riders? Freedom Riders. Remember the very famous white savior movie called To Kill a Mockingbird? I believe it was also a book. Or even Abraham Lincoln, to me, was nothing but a white savior. He was the white savior type. That dude I call Abraham Lincoln had flaws. His views on slavery was contradictory. Emancipation to Abraham Lincoln was a political move based on military police, not necessarily not necessarily because of compassion. Another place we could start to change things is to diversify what we show to our children and provide very positive representations of black folks. And there are plenty positive representations of black folks. Parents and educators need to provide all of the wonderful stories of black folks succeeding, all of the wonderful stories of black folks surviving, all of the wonderful stories of black resiliency, all the wonderful stories about the beauty of black folks, the pride of black folks. All of this stuff that I'm mentioning are written and produced by black folks. Movies, podcasts like mine, and books are a great way to introduce topics regarding race, culture, and history. White folks. That's what we should be trying to do. There's nothing wrong with teaching our children kindness, but parents and educators need to go out of their way to teach their children that there's so much more to ending racism than being nice. Start with reframing what we were taught about American history. That would be the place to start, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. That's all I have on this one. Please go to thethrasherway.libsyn.com.